Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Public Defender Julie Cianca of the Monroe County Public Defender's Office. Assistant Public Defender Mark Phillips of the Monroe County Public Defender's Office. My name is Chris Chichester. I'm demanding public information from you. And the Freedom of Information Law is attached to PDF. It doesn't have today's current date. This is what's attached in PDF. YouTube psychopaths on Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Doyle, and Judge Alex Renzi. Here. September 12th, you're copied on here. Perry Duckles, Julie Cianca, and Mark Phillips. Apply with the attached Freedom of Information Law documentation dated September 12th, 2023. Mail names by process signs, the address on the foil. Read each foil document attached to PDF that demands other information. Read the 97-page document attached in PDF. Read the Pretrial Services Corporation document attached to PDF. Answer my questions about it. I didn't have a trial scheduled. Yet I was forced by Judge Alex Renzi of the New York State Supreme Court to contact an employee. Tell me why. The attached PDF documentation includes 5 criminal complaints, arrest and prosecute each individual named in the criminal complaints. You received these criminal complaints, be registered about return receipt in July. You did nothing, will do nothing. You will concoct crimes for me, nor real crimes committed by sick individuals, including Monroe County Sheriff Office employees. It's a disgrace that sworn officers of the law do not know what constitutes a criminal act to commit criminal acts. I'm not going to go on, but that's attached. You can read. So that's September 12th. And the names here on August 28th. Name, Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Doyle, Judge Alex Renzi, who forced me into this $210,000 fossil Alex Renzi to prosecute beside them. So up here is Perry Duckles, Julie Cianca, and Mark Phillips. What says names? Attached to PDF is Freedom of Information Law document dated August 28, 2023 that compels you to disclose the names of my prosecutor's silence. The title, 97 pages of fanaticism. Mail the names of these 3 fanatics to my address on Park Avenue. I prosecute silence with John P. Lesser Jr. in Pelican Town Court, Paul C. Lesser in Pelican Town Court, Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court. The language on the foil. Bullet point 1, the documentation for the case of Christopher Charges for John P. Lesser Jr. in Pelican Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doyle? Bullet point 2, documentation for the case of Christopher Charges for Paul C. Lesser in Pelican Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doyle? Bullet point 3, documentation for the case of Christopher Charges for Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doyle? And it goes on from there, and you can read that too. This is in the District Attorney's Office. And this is why the District Attorney of Monroe County, this party-switching diva who doesn't know if she's a Democrat or Republican, is corrupt. I have prosecutors. When I'm forced into a courtroom by psychopath cops, I have a prosecutor who has never talked. Yet I've been in jail 6 times. And that's the lunatic friends. It's Richard Seidman. Stalked me into the Pelican Public Library, ran at me, slammed his arm to the side of my head. Todd Thurston, Kathleen Miller, Scott Alberti, and William Tadeo. And I fell backwards, and then my head hit the ceramic tile. Todd Thurston, Kathleen Miller, Scott Alberti, and William Tadeo. What would you think if something like that happened to a friend or family member of yours? He's a violent psychopath, Richard Seidman, who Todd Baxter will not fire, even though I wrote the criminal complaint. This is notarized by Christopher Price, the Monroe branch of Rochester Public Library. That Richard Seidman of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office walked into the Pelican Public Library in Pelican, New York, ran at Christopher Chichester, slammed his arm to the head of Chichester, causing him to fall backwards and hit his head on the ceramic tile floor. So, this is the criminal complaint. The clerk's office told me this is documentation I use right here for a criminal complaint. What I just read is right here. I just wrote it down. But I signed my name to this, saying Richard J. Seidman, who should be in state prison. This is not jail. Slammed his arm to the side of my head, caused me to fall back and hit my head on the surrounding cell. So this is July 21st. Notably, Christopher M. Price, the Monroe branch, the Rochester Public Library, which you should, and I believe, of course, you do know, is on Monroe Avenue. That's my signature right there. Said he violently attacked me. Todd Baxter looked right at this. Doesn't matter. Todd Baxter loves violence. Sandra Doyle looked right at this. Doesn't matter. Sandra Doyle loves violence. What are the names of my prosecutors? Perry Duckles, Julie Cianca, Mark Phillips. I copied you to Elizabeth Buckley, I believe you're director of local courts. What are their names? Insane is a word I have used repeatedly, and it's the word I'm thinking about right now, because it's an appropriate word. It's insane for a public offender anywhere in the United States of America to refuse to disclose the names of a prosecutor in a public proceeding. It's insane for a district attorney anywhere in the United States of America to refuse to disclose the names of a prosecutor in a public proceeding. And District Attorney Sandra Dorley has refused for 18 months, 2 years, 3 years. Yet I've been in jail 6 times because of a psychopath assistant district attorney and psychopath cops at the sheriff's office. Before I'm 50, I got a speeding ticket in my place of employment in Albany, New York, speeding ticket in my place of employment in Washington, D.C., both dismissed in court. After I'm 50, I've been in jail 6 times. Because it's a corrupt psychopath judge. And it's a corrupt psychopath assistant district attorney. That's why. Psychopaths are convicting me. Psychopaths are violently attacking me. And it doesn't matter to you freaks and sociopaths. Every name I mention on here is a freak and a sociopath. And I'm not trying to convince you of anything. And every time I'm on here, I have a limited audience. It's the Department of Justice, the Officer Kathy Hochul, Speaker Carl Eastry, and Senator Majority Andrew Stewart Cousins at Albany, and about 10 others that I really truly care about. What is wrong with you at that sheriff's office and district attorney's office, public defender's office? Why do you hate human beings? I have prosecutors assigned to my court appearances that have delivered me to jail. And this revolting, sick, disgusting hack, I hope burns in hell, that calls herself Sandra Dorley has refused for 18 months, 2 years, 3 years to disclose the names to me. So that's called vanished. It's in the district attorney's office, where if she opened it, if her health allows it, this pathetic diva does go into the office and work the standard 40-hour work week, and she's not in a Coleman, home, or Webster, she can look at it and look at the Freedom of Information Law and see what I'm demanding on prosecution. This is called Psychopaths. On September 12th, I believe I have the foil in there. If not, then I'll hold the foil up. The Freedom of Information Law is called the foil because I have multiple Freedom of Information Law documents that you can look at and see. And this one says from October 23rd, I'm going to read 3 here that I just read in that document. It's one thing for me to just write it down and tell you to send this information to me in Gmail, which you can blow off. This is how I acquired the payroll for the Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office, the legally binding documents of Freedom of Information Law. This is October 23rd. This is in the District Attorney's Office. This is why she's corrupt. This is why she's a psychopath. District Attorney Sandra Dorley. It looks right at it. Doesn't matter to her. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester in Powelltown Court with John P. Lenzo Jr. was the name of the process, Sandra Dorley. Is this Julie Hahn? Or is this not Julie Hahn? The Queen is 17% in Monroe County Court, who loses by 14 points. I look right at her. Total silence. She doesn't say to the 70-year-old fossil John P. Lenzo Jr., Your Honor, I can't make an argument that this citizen committed a crime. Christopher Chichester want to dismiss the charges. He looks at her. I look at her. Total silence. Lomenzo ends his farce in 30 seconds, the Soviet Union show trial. And there's Andrew Reale waiting for me in his $79,000 salary. He concocted one of these fictional crimes for me. There I am in Monroe County Jail. Total silence convicts me in front of John P. Lomenzo Jr. for the fantasy land and the head of Andrew Reale and Shannon Meyer. I'm not going to mention those 2 charges because I hate to. So, John P. Lomenzo Jr., Paul C. Metzler, are these 2 hacks. Here's Freedom of Information Law dated October 23rd, documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester and Paul C. Metzler before John P. Lenzo Jr. What's the prosecutor Sandra? This is the 5'2" 3-piece suit boy. Unlike the prosecutor John P. Lenzo Jr., I'll walk right up to him. And I was right next to him, about 5 feet away. I'm saying, you're going to stand there in total silence? You're not going to utter one word? And he didn't say anything. He didn't move to dismiss the charge, say, I can't make an argument that this citizen committed a crime. I'm not quite sure what I'm in here for. This is corruption, fanaticism here. Perry Duckles, Julie Cianca, Mark Phillips. Do you understand what I'm talking about? What you should be thinking for however long I'm on here is corruption and fanaticism. So, John P. Lomenzo Jr. have a prosecutor. Is that Julie Hahn or is it not Julie Hahn? And you know. Every name I mention here knows because you have the names in a paper file or a hard drive. John P. Lomenzo Jr. Is that Julie Hahn or not Julie Hahn? This is the 5'2" 3-piece suit boy. Sent me to Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. What's his name? So, and then who elevated me to the exalted one Alex Renzi in the United States Supreme Court, Mr. 25%, Mr. $210,000. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chester, Alex Renzi in the United States Supreme Court. What's his name? The prosecution fraud. This hack and sociopath right here that forced me into Alex Renzi still has me in Rochester, New York, where I'm in a $600 apartment where the lights don't work. Who is it? Tell me who it is. And you'll continue to refuse because you're corrupt. That's why. It just doesn't matter to you freaks and sociopaths that I'm an innocent man. He's guilty and not guilty. I'm neither. I'm innocent. I've been an innocent man my whole life. From my birthday on July 4, 1965 until today. I am the very definition of an innocent man. That's why the prosecutor can't make an argument in court that I committed a crime. This is corruption right here. This is dated April 29, 2023. I'm not going to say the name of this place in Elmwood Avenue with three-letter acting because I already did, because I despise with every fiber of my being having to say the name of this place that I'm in without a physical examination by a doctor. And then when the doctor examined me, he says, there's nothing wrong with you, and you're going to be released. And I'm in here because of a fake, phony, fraudulent document concocted by Dr. Caroline Easton of the Rochester Institute of Technology, who I demanded to see. And I held up the document that's fake and phony in front of her. I said, am I here because of you? Total silence from her. Well, Paul C. Metzer knows that I was at this place on Elmwood Avenue with a three-letter acronym because Sheriff Todd Baxter gave Paul C. Metzer and Peppertown all my healthcare records, which I said to him here on this April 29, 2023. Copy of the private healthcare records delivered to $28,000 Peppertown Court Judge Paul C. Metzer by Sheriff Todd Baxter for Monroe County violation of the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. This passed in 1996 my former employees, United States House of Representatives, to properly protect healthcare records. Perry Duckles, Julie Cianca, Mark Phillips. And my healthcare records are not properly protected when this $28,000 bald-headed widow has them right in her hands because Sheriff Todd Baxter delivered them to her, Perry Duckles, Julie Cianca, and Mark Phillips. So also on this, April 29th, it's in the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office. District Attorney for help allowed it. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chester, New York State Supreme Court, Alex Renzi. What is the name of the prosecution? April 29th. I'm going to try to attach some PDF if I can find it. I have so many documents that are Freedom of Information Law. I have over 1,000. Sometimes it is a challenge to find every one, but I'm going to try to attach what I just read. What I just read on April 29th, documentation for the case of Christopher Chester, Paul C. Metz from Peppertown Court. What is the name of the prosecution's daughter? Something wrong with you. You're not there. There is no there. I just use that phrase from the great writer Gertrude Stein, meaning you're empty in the head. Empty in the head is right here. The documentation for the case of Christopher Chester for John P. Lemons in Peppertown Court was the name of the prosecution. That arrived. And she looked at it and it didn't matter. Again, there are things I believe can remove you, Sandra Doyle, and you, Todd Baxter, from office. Total cost, Freedom of Information Law. This is April 29th. This is why Sheriff Todd Baxter from District Attorney Sandra Doyle is corrupt, because what happens when the 41st hour is worked? More money happens for public employees. And I'm in the process, I'm close to contacting Controller Thomas P. DiNapoli to recommend an audit of Sheriff Todd Baxter and District Attorney Sandra Doyle. And this document I'm going to read here is what I'm going to include to Controller Thomas P. DiNapoli. What do you pay your employees when the 41st hours work? Can you, Perry Duckles, exist in $200,000 with overtime time and a half? Can you, Julie Cianca, exist with $200,000 with overtime time and a half? Can you, Mark Phillips, exist with $200,000 with overtime time and a half? I don't know. You do. Freedom of Information, the total cost of overtime time and a half for help paid on base hours calculated tomorrow County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter. There's no doubt about it. He's fleecing taxpayers, and he has $200,000 comps with overtime time and a half. You, Todd Thurston, I think it's $82,000. Can you go over $100,000 on overtime? Do you even go over $200,000? This is for the district attorney. Total cost of overtime, time and a half, help paid on base hours calculated tomorrow County Attorney's Office, Attorney Sandra. You, Perry Duckles, at $113,000. Can you go over $200,000 with overtime time? This is why she's corrupt. The law is a joke to District Attorney Sandra Doyle. The law is a joke to Sheriff Todd Baxter. I just demonstrated right here. They look right at that if they looked at it and refused. Again, I've demanded this since this day on this April 29th. I've written this at least 20 times. The contract for weapons for Todd Baxter. He has a vendor. He has a party. He has a business that sends him the weapons for the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. It is a contract. And what is it? What's the dollar amount of the contract and who is it? Who is the vendor? Who is the party? Who is the business? And he's refusing because he's corrupt. The contract signed by Sheriff Todd Baxter to purchase firearms from Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees to include 1, the name of the firearms contract, 2, the number of firearms purchased, 3, total amount of tax dollars to purchase firearms. So that arrived there on that February 29th. Everything I read there also arrived on, April 29th, April 23rd. And Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Dorley, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court, Paul C. Metzler, James Finley Jr. in Penfield Court refused. Monroe County Sheriff Office employees Todd Thurston. Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. What are the names of my prosecutors? You refuse to answer. And that's a disgrace. It's an abomination. And it's why you're unethical. So, I just told you there to tell me the names of my prosecutors. Deputy District Attorney Perry Duckles of Monroe County. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been in jail 6 times. And 6 times the prosecutor's not talked in court. What are the names of my prosecutors, Perry Duckles? I contacted you on January 1, 2023. And demanded of you in writing that you disclose the names of my prosecutors of silence. Why did you refuse, Perry Duckles? The answer is that you're corrupt. It's that simple. You're corrupt. I have prosecutors in a taxpayer finance public proceeding that you, Perry Duckles, have refused over and over. When I contact you by email, contact you on this TikTok, the registered mail return receipt should have arrived for you, either United States Postal Service or UPS or FedEx. There's different ways I've contacted you. Richard J. Siebman, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, attacked me at the Penfield Public Library. Sheriff Todd Baxter loves violence. They say Monroe County Sheriff Office employees Todd Thurston, Scott Alberti, William Tadeo, Kathleen Miller. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I've been an innocent man in jail 6 times. I'm going to tell you about one of those times in this brief time I have on this TikTok app. About $75,000 Richard J. Siebman, who will not be fired. So Todd Thurston, you're the community engagement officer, so I'm going to tell you what happened to me in the community of Penfield, New York, where I lived for 8 years. I walk into the Penfield Public Library. I do not know. I'm being stalked into the library by $75,000 Richard J. Siebman because one person, bald-headed widow, Paula C. Metzler, on a $28,000 salary in Penfield Town Court wants to send me to jail. I sit down at the computer. Richard J. Siebman runs at me, extends his arm, slams me in the head with his arm. And when I fell down, my head bounced off the ceramic tile. What do you think about what I just said, Todd Thurston, about the community of Penfield Town Court and his violent attack upon me by Richard J. Siebman? And when I write the assault complaint about him, he won't be fired because the Monroe County Sheriff's Office embraces violence. I leave my residence to go to Gold's Gym in Fairport. I arrive at the pharmacy entrance to Wegmans on Penfield Road, and 5 Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicles stopped. 10 plus employees there for me. 1 Monroe County Sheriff Office employee ran at me, drove his shoulder into my hip, knocked me down, and my head slammed down upon the concrete pavement. And what do you think about what I just told you in the community of Penfield, New York, Todd Thurston? It's a violent attack upon me, and I do not know his name. Your female employee with the Marine-style haircut and tattoos can identify him. And you know what she's going to say, Todd Thurston? Nothing. Because she's the blue wall silence. Every single one of you employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office is the blue wall silence. I had to get an MRI because it's a violent attack upon me by this psychopath. And when I'm in the MRI tube, I do not know, my left foot is moving. The technician is saying to me over and over, don't move your foot, Chris. What do you think about what I'm saying to you, Monroe County Sheriff Office employees? which you think is obvious. You're the blue wall of silence. It doesn't matter to you that I'm violently attacked outside the pharmacy entrance to Wegmans. It doesn't matter to you this is a sworn officer of law with a holstered weapon and a badge, dedicated to the law and decency, morality, violently attacking me. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have never committed a crime. And every single name I've said on here, you're in Jonestown. Jonestown is where the followers of Jim Jones in Guyana and South America drank Flavor Aid. And he committed mass suicide. Over 900 of his followers in a cult. You know about this. It's one of the most famous events of the 20th century, if not world history. And that's where the phrase drinking the Kool-Aid comes from, even though they didn't drink Kool-Aid. It's Flavor Aid. There's different ways to define a Kool-Aid drinker, and there are times I see that on TV sometimes, and I'll laugh. And I have a friend of mine, his name is Peter Murphy, and whenever we talk politics, he would sometimes say in a mocky way, he's such a Kool-Aid drinker, and I'd laugh. Because you can say that phrase, he's a Kool-Aid drinker, in a way that is funny with your friends or relatives or wherever else in your life. And that's always a good thing with people you really care about. And then there are ways to use the phrase drinking the Kool-Aid. That's not a good thing because it really truly means fanaticism and hatred and blindness to the truth. And that's what you are at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Public Defender's Office, and New York State Supreme Court, Alex Renzi. Hatred, fanaticism, blindness to the truth. Because you're refusing every single time to disclose the names of my prosecutors that are responsible for delivering me to jail. You're going to do it again now. It just doesn't matter. The Freedom of Information Law doesn't have the current date. And then when I update it, I'm going to fill this out over and over and over. I will constantly, for as long as I live in Monroe County, I'll be demanding information from the sociopath Sheriff Todd Baxter, from the sociopath District Attorney Sandra Dawley, and they're going to refuse every single time. And one of my goals is humiliation. Because when I say to Todd Baxter, what is your employee Ryan Fisher doing in Atlanta, Georgia? I'm trying to humiliate him. When I'm saying to Todd Baxter, what is your employee Corey Brown who's paid $155,000? What's your employee Michael Fowles paying $163,000? Doing in Saratoga, I'm trying to humiliate him. When I'm demanding information from District Attorney Sandra Dawley about this ludicrous bureaucracy within the District Attorney's Office called the Conviction Integrity Unit, I'm trying to humiliate her. That's what I'm trying to do. Corrupt elected officials must be humiliated by the constituency. That's what I'm doing to you. That's what I'm trying to do to you. So, this is in the documentation that has arrived over and over and over with Todd Baxter. I wrote on this July 15th. Todd Baxter, Sheriff 130 South Plymouth Avenue, Rochester, 14604. Your violent psychopath employee, 75904, Richard J. Seaman, stalked me into Pembroke Public Library, stood up the computer terminal. Seaman ran at me, slammed his arm inside of my head. I fell backwards. My head hit the ceramic tile floor. This violence is irrelevant to you. You embrace violence because you felt psychopathic criminal not be fired. When I write the criminal complaint, they'll add details to the assault by Seaman and not be arrested or prosecuted. Nothing will happen to your taxpayer subsidized sociopath that must undergo immediate mental health evaluation. He will attack other innocent citizens. Did you order Seaman to stalk me into the library? Were you informed about his disgusting predatory behavior? Do you have no knowledge about his fanaticism? You refuse to answer. Resign. That's exactly right. Refuse to answer. So the criminal complaint for this violent psychopath and stalker, Richard J. Seaman, came to the sheriff's office along with the criminal complaint for $73,000 Michael Houlihan, who's a perjurer. And I'll repeat things because corruption needs to have the truth hammered into its head. This is it right here. I'm telling you, just like I did here, on the language that Todd Baxter, Sandra Dawley can read. I'm telling you, Richard J. Seaman violently attacked me. That's me writing it down. This is me swearing in a criminal complaint that he violently attacked me, for which he belongs in state prison. This is not a little smack in the face here. Perry Duckles, Julie Cianca, Mark Phillips. If a human being anywhere attacked you the way Richard J. Seaman attacked me at the Pembroke Public Library, I guarantee you're going to reach the conclusion that whoever that person is hypothetically belongs in state prison. This is violent felony assault. It has to be. So, this is you, Perry Duckles here. What you copied on here? It says CC Mark Frozen County.gov. Right there, Mark. What is wrong with you? I use that phrase all the time. Whenever I use your name, Mark, I'll say, what is wrong with you? Attached in PDF, 61-page free informational document dated December 2023 that arrived in your office via UPS. Documentation arrived December 22nd, December 26th via UPS's track. You have it. So I'll stop right there. 3 times. December 20th, December 22nd, December 26th, in a 1-week period, before the arrival, I'm telling District Attorney Sandor last December, disclosed the names I prosecute silence. And this is where I'm correct. I'll be in court again. Because your fellow psychopaths know it takes only one corrupt judge like Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court, Paul C. Metzel Little, Pamphlet Town Court, declare me guilty of criminal charges. You could cop. I was in jail 3 months after this, even though I'm going on in my life. I'm not doing anything that's criminal. I get this document in the mail. I'm in for Alex Renzi, who remands me to Monroe County Jail. This exact thing happened to me. And I do not know the name of the psychopath assistant district attorney who forced me into Alex Renzi. And when I write this down in more detail, I'm going to take this here to you, Perry Duckles. I'm going to say to Sandra Dorley, I told you I was going to be in jail again because I said so here on this January 1. And who's the prosecutor who forced me into Alex Renzi to remand me to Monroe County Jail? I'm not going to say why because I hate to say why. But Alex Renzi thinks he's a doctor when Alex Renzi did not graduate from medical school because he's a graduate of the illustrious Emory University School of Law in Atlanta. And when I was in there for one of my appearances, I ridiculed the fact that he was a graduate of Emory University School of Law because I said to the Exalted One, Alex Renzi, they're in the top 500 law schools in the United States of America, 500 spots behind Harvard Law School. So, Frank Chernetsky, a 57-year employee of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. This is why this bald-headed, Benito Mussolini skinhead Todd Baxter is corrupt. That means Frank Chernetsky, if he was hired at 18, is 75 years old. I believe I was standing right next to Frank Chernetsky, Todd Thurston, Scott O'Berty, Kathleen Miller, William Tadeo. That means he's at least 75 years old. I looked at this old man at the jail. I thought, how is he possibly here with these rapists and murders, and how can this man protect himself? 75-year-old man, I don't care if you have the same type of background as fictional John Rambo. If you're a non-fictional equivalent to John Rambo, if you're 75 years old, you're going to have physical limitations. 57-year employee is hired at 18. He has to be 75 years old. He could be 80 years old. Ridiculous. This is when I want to contact Thomas P. DiNapoli. I'm going to say this sheriff is such a stooge and a buffoon that he doesn't forcibly retire their employees. This is employee after employee on here, like you, Scott O'Berty, 28 years you've been at the sheriff's office. Did you pass a PT test? Are you a veteran, Scott? I don't know anything about you. But Todd Baxter doesn't even have physical training standards. And since you've been at the sheriff's office, Scott, for 28 years, and if you were hired at 18 years old, then you're at least 46 years old. And can you do 40 push-ups and 40 sit-ups and run 2 miles in 25 minutes? Can you do that? Can you pass the equivalent of the Army PT test? I believe that at least 50% of Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees cannot pass the equivalent of the United States Army PT test. And that's a disgrace. And you, Scott, you could walk through this parking lot without being arrested. It's a lunatic. For instance, Shannon Meyer sets me up. She tells this man, Steve Desert, Brock Ultra, and Long Hair, Roger attracted by his residence. Christopher Chichester comes to our house. We can arrest him. When there's real crime and violence in Rochester or Monroe County, this is what this freak Shannon Meyer's doing. It's not a crime. Employees of the Sheriff's Office, District Attorney's Office, Pamphlet Town Court, Alex Renzi, Public Defender's Office. To walk out here and say nobody owned land and walk back rents. That's not criminal contempt. And Todd Baxter gave this freak Shannon Meyer $16,000 raise from $67,000 to $83,000. And I'm on this thing right here. I'm on this camera right here, the links of which was sent to me by the public defender and the person of assistant public defender, Grisina Harper. That's called a surveillance device. And when you freaks and sociopaths, the sheriff's office are doing is call Lindsay Bound, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health, to come to my residence when I use that phrase. We don't know anything about what's happening at my residence. I've been on it over and over and over. Is this private technology for a business called Consumer Insights at 2025 Pemsley Road with Ellie Roth's the president, and Utah Bags to buy it and fix it for me? Lunatic French. The one for my arrest for a parking lot I've walked through 4,000 times. Really sick disgrace. Told Todd Bass, this photograph is why I fanatic, this photograph is why I'm extremist, this photograph is why you're a liar, this photograph is why I'm known to name you 67,000 disgusting ass Shanamar. This photograph is why people hate the police. This photograph is why people hate the police. I never had any hatred for police in my life until the Shanamar ran into my backyard and fell down on her face, and then she's laying in my backyard dirt because I told the man on his track that nobody owns the land next to my residence. And she's telling other members of the sheriff's office she wants to arrest me. That's why 60 freaks were at my residence. So, sending names on my prosecutor's silence to my address on the Freedom of Information Law that has arrived over and over and over. This has arrived right here. This is my address on the Freedom of Information Law, 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, 14604. So, Julie Cianca, Mark Phillips, why won't you do this and comply with the law and sending names of my prosecutors of silence to this address? You shouldn't change. That's why. So, this is about the grand jury. I'm not going to read that again because I will now conclude. You're fanatics and freaks and sociopaths. You're not there mentally. There is no there. Gertrude Stein, you're not there. At the sheriff's office, district attorney's office, Penn Court, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court, public defender's office. Because innocence is alien to you. There's guilty and not guilty. I'm innocent. I have been an innocent man my whole life. My name is Christopher Chichester. Liberty's a soul's right to breathe. I live in Rochester, New York.